Hello guys and welcome to 5th Hearthstone Autumn Qualifier for the ESL Adria. And today in our semifinals we have Alexander NS on the top and ATL CISO on the or Kiko, I'm not sure, on the bottom. Alexander with his Shaman, Rogue and Druid, where his Druid was banned, and ATL with Shaman, Priest and Mage, where his Mage got a ban.
That is true, and once again, hello everyone, and welcome to 5th qualifier. As we see, a bit of a fast opening from Alexander NS. He managed to find that one pirate that usually pulls out the patches unless you draw it to hand. We see that it is a version of Tempo Rogue versus a token / evolve shaman.
Yeah. We also see something really interesting. Well, I mean, it is quite interesting that that ATL decides to overload turn 1 without a turn 2, which is sometimes good when you want to really remove the early pirates. But now he will be missing turn 2, which is a bit unfortunate. Also, we have a version of Prince Valinar from Alexander, which means no 4 drops in the deck are present.
No Naga Corsairs, so
Yeah.
I think this will be like just the basic pirate package with maybe...
Also no Xerael, which is
also
important.
no Xerael, with maybe just the patches and Swashbucklers. Maybe there is one or two captains included, but
Maybe,
nothing after that. No Naga Corsairs, as we said.
ATL managing to come back to the board with his Primal Fin Totem.
Yeah, but he doesn't manage to find that curve. He already missed 2 mana with. I mean, it's not a misplay. It's like how the shaman works. Sometimes it's really hard to curve out, and it's not usually the bad thing. Sometimes you want to go out of the curve because you can get a more favorable state on the board by doing so. But sometimes if your opponent is skillful enough, he can use that to punish you and like just overrun you with tempo, especially the Tempo Rogue. Like every bit of mana presents a piece of tempo, and you kind of want to use them all, at least at the beginning.
That is true. But here we see Serenite, which really helps ATL come back to the board. And, well, I mean, there's some good trades from Alexander to return the favor as well.
Also, I forgot to mention the Swashbuckler, the South Sea Deckhands while I was listing the pirate package. And also we see the captain being played. Also
really interesting, considering the trade with Firefly. I thought he was like setting it up for a trade next turn, but I think he decides to remove the Primal Film Totem. It's really important. Also,
he managed to find a copy of Master of Evolution, which might be used to evolve that like minions that has strong battle cry, like Vile Spine or something like that. When they do their battle cries, they're not that big minions, and they can be involved into like 6 cost minions. That is like really
it would be huge if he rolls
valuable.
The spell damage totem, because he manages. Oh, he does. He manages to actually
and we see a
full clear.
Board clear if he decides to trade here.
I think he will, and he might just trade with
he goes with the patches.
I mean, it's okay.
Face,
he really wants to return to the board, and we see quite a huge comeback where now ATL has the board and Alexander needs to return it and fight for it. And
that is true. Also, he prefers keeping pirates on board because he has synergies with them, and usually rogues don't have enough room to run that Golaka crawlers to like efficiently punish this place. So I like the choice of trading there.
True. Also, Flame Tongue really helping the trades here, and well, possibly even managing to remove the Edwin if he decides to go for it.
Okay.
I mean, we're gonna see a thing from below. The question is the positioning, whether he wants it to be on the side or in the middle, but first we're gonna see some trades. Flame Tongue Totem is really nice to keep, but the question is he's really gonna remove that Edwin, because Edwin can contest the thing from below. So I'm pretty sure he's considering trading. If not, he would just trade probably with the Flame Tongue Totem into the Firefly.
Advenic presents a danger to his board if he plays like Vilespine with like comboed with something, because he can Vilespine the 5/5 the thing from below, and then he can just disassemble the Shaman board. He can like pick the free trades on totems, like on Stoneclaw totem.
That is true.
And then he can like just trade with Adwin into Flame Tongue, and basically his board loses value. He goes from like a really good board state to like 1 damage board with just patches and spell power totem.
That's true. A bit of a problem is the fact that now if he decides to trade with the patches actually kills that big Edwin and leaves a very vulnerable board. Also, we see Jade Lightning Beam picked up, which completely removes the Bone Mare if he decides to go for it.
This is huge, but that also means that he decides not to play Bone Mare this turn, a Bone Mare of his own.
Yeah, but I think this is still strong enough, especially if the Shaman manages to pick up Bloodlust. This is a huge setup and a really big board, and quite awkward for the rogues.
Rogues, they don't have that many tools to deal with like 5 minions that are not 1 health, 2 health, but like we see 2 totems with 3 health, which means that Backstab cannot kill them, the SI cannot kill them solely, but he finds a tool for trading.
Yeah, here that Alakir is unfortunately going to be removing minions instead of going straight face, which is usually something that Alakir wants to do.
Yeah, especially combined with Cold Blood.
Yeah, and here we see quite a strong Bone Mare on the Flame Tongue Totem and a trade, and I don't think we're gonna be seeing that evolve before the Doppelgangster hits the board.
I think ATL wants to keep that just like a fail switch. If this board fails, I can always go like Doppelgangster evolve, and then.
So far, we're not seeing a clear.
Yeah.
I don't see a way unless a crazy evolve effect happens for Alexander, like a taunt.
Can we find a crazy evolve effect?
Yeah, this is a GG from ATL.
This would be 1-0 for him.
Yeah, it's a 1-0. Congrats, and we're gonna see another game where ATL remains to get a win with Priest, or Alexander turns the games around and wins with his Shaman and his Rogue versus a Priest, which sometimes can be possible if Priest doesn't get the answers, but it's really hard to beat that Priest twice, especially with a token deck.
True. Don't go anywhere, guys. We are about to see the next match in just about a matter of seconds.
Yeah, our semi-finalists are ready. I've been really happy with how the games were going in these. Well, not just in these semi-finals, in all semi-finals and finals. We've seen some really good games, and I think we're gonna continue with that. We see a Dark Reaper, a really good anti-aggro tool for just for Rogue. It can sometimes be awkward, and for those of you who have played, for example, the Mirror Rogue with the Dark Reaper, you know how annoying Dark Reaper can be when you only have pirates on board, when you, for example, don't have Backstab or SI present. It can be really painful.
This is a version of Kazakus Priest, Razakus.
Yeah.
However, it's popular called these days usually, and we see Alexander trying to find that win again with the Rogue. Rogues tend to overrun Priest sometimes, especially when they play around Dragonfire with that with Scalebane, right?
Yeah, that is true.
And we hope that we will see that, because we want as long matches as possible.
Yeah.
So we're kind of rooting for Alexander. Of course, we are not
rooting
rooting
for a long Hearthstone match.
for as much Hearthstone as we can get, and that means that
turning around as many tables as you can, basically.
We will always root to see that reverse sweep and something, and we see Priest picking up some tools for board removal. Also, Dark Reaper to play, as you said, versus those pirates. This is like a huge wall for them that they cannot climb over, and Alexander also
really interesting addition of the weapons there. for Alexander, we see Shadow Blade,
Yeah.
which really helps removing those kinds of minions. His rogue a bit more heavy on the minions. We see Karen, we see also the Prince, we see Shadow Blade, all those mid-range removals and minions that can help you stay on board and control the other
that is
board.
also true. We see a Karen Bloodhoof attack the rogues around these days, so that they can drop something on turn 6 and that they have kind of guaranteed body to land their bone marrow on. So Karen is just as durable minion as it gets in this
we
meta.
see a Dragonfire being picked up. Not good news for Alexander. Also, he decides to commit to backstab and trade with his Shadow Blade, which is completely justified. But there's that Wild Pyro in hand that unless a captain happens on his side, if he runs the captain, though that board is very vulnerable to Wild Pyro and, for example, Binding Heal or even a Silence if something like that happens.
Okay. Interesting turn for Rogue here. He can decide to go for Prince, and I think that's what we are seeing here. But also,
need to expand.
Yeah, he needs to think like how does he want to approach this? If he goes like all in, the Dragonfire punishes him. If he doesn't go enough on board, the priest can just preserve the Dragonfire for later. And the ideal situation is where you force the priest to play Dragonfire on turn 6, and you have something that survived the board, and then you can close the game before turn 8, where they can play Anduin.
That is true. Really interesting turn with Potion of Mana. He actually manages to steal the card.
Yeah, denies the card draw to priest. That is the most important thing, because
and cycles as well.
Because if priests can manage to get their hands on all the cards they need, there is nothing that can stop them, especially with that Raza and Anduin combo, where they can just shoot their hero power until they win the whole thing.
That is true. Here we see Silence in his hands. And I think, is it a spectator bug? Sometimes the cards will pop out.
It is not the spectator's bug. It is the
like him holding the card.
When player is looking at the card, it will be big like that.
Yeah. So
and we can also see the cards.
Yeah, and him trying to find a really good target for Silence, as we can see. So I think he's gonna have a good one very soon with that Karen in hand.
Yeah. Also, Adwin is a huge target for Silence, and most of the priests are saving the Silence for those two, or they cycle it, use it as a combo piece to refresh the hero power or to get an extra spell from Lyra. So it can be used in many ways. But we see if he decides to go Silence, there is a board clear for him. And that's something that Alexander will not like to see. He played that Karen just to force that Dragonfire and to have something on board, but Priest has all the answers this time.
Here we see an Advent picked up, which can be a big tool for coming back on board. Also, it's important to mention with the Prince Valinar, as you know, sometimes Rogue just dies to the Anduin Shadow Reaper hero power, and he actually managed to get quite some heals as a compensation for trading a lot with his daggers. So also really important thing to notice, he's at 29, so in case the priest decides to go for Anduin and we still don't have he doesn't have the Raza, he's gonna have to commit to a lot to actually kill the Rogue.
Yeah, and Alexander, recognizing that there is no more Silence and the priest hand is running low, he kind of goes for a big Adwin, but we see that yet another time priest has the answer for the biggest threat, but not necessarily for the captain. And it is important to have something on board that sticks through rounds, because then it starts to snowball, and that's the kind of way the Tempo Rogues are winning the game.
Also, it's not to be underestimated that ATL has 18 health, and with Binding Heal and Spirit Lash, he can find some heals, but Rogue doesn't really have a lot of tools to come back on board. So Spirit Lash will
not the thing he wants to pick up from the top, and he needs to play it just for the pure tempo.
He needs the damage from the SI, so he might just decide to play it naked, as we say, and basically deal some 2 additional damage and hope the priest doesn't have yet another answer to the board.
He already saw a Dragonfire potion, and there is nothing that's holding him back from playing the minions that are below 5 attack, because Shadow Reaper and Anduin don't really deal with them.
Yeah. So I think he just might consider going that way, because there is not much that you really want to kill with Vile Spine. Sometimes you will want to... Oh, this is interesting.
Interesting approach, yeah. Also, another thing is you might want to save that Vile Spine, because if you kind of go all out and Priest finds a solution for your minions and you're not able to kill him in time, that's just the game right there.
This is interesting. He actually does not find the answer. He can eat the pirate with the crab, but there is not much that he can do this turn with Leroy. So with some minimum amount of damage that Alexander NS picks up, this might just be GG. He manages to kill the pirate and heal some more with well.
And we're seeing the priest desperately trying to enlarge the amount of health by healing the already fully healed minion.
And Alexander knows this is not a... Yeah, this is pretty good, playing around all the possible things that he can play. He will not play anything anytime soon with 2 health, as we can see in his hand, and also he knows that Priest does not have the Anduin in hand, because he would have played it, and he knows this is a rogue card.
He gets the read, and he also decides to be careful, just in case his opponent top decks the Anduin. He will have 2 minions that will survive that.
That is true. Still nothing in Potion of Madness, both hands being empty, which is really bad for the Priest. Priest wants to have a lot more than this. Rogue can top deck well, but this is gonna be a GG.
This is a GG and a tie-up to the series, so don't go anywhere. We will see a 3rd game in this best-of-3 duel.
So what we're going to be seeing is ATL's Priest still wanting to find that win, and also Alexander's Shaman. We are yet to see Alexander's Shaman, so yeah, we're either going to see turning the tables or this Priest having all the answer to the Shaman tools. Either way, we're having a 3rd game of Hearthstone.
Sometimes Priests can just exhaust Shamans, and sometimes Shamans can just like do early Bloodlust and do some crazy evolves, and in that way kind of overrun the Priest, completely catching them off guard. But we see Dragonfire being picked up for ATLC.
I wonder if he decides to keep it. He keeps it. Also, Alexander having that crab in hand, not very useful versus ATL, but there might be a way for ATL to discover a pirate and play it and fall into the crab. That's always a possibility.
Yes, and also the crab can eat the pirates of their own.
Yeah. He decides to go for tempo and say, okay, if you get the pirate, do you really want to play that pirate? Go ahead. And I guess the pirate is about the worst thing that ATL could discover from Alexander's deck if he runs them.
We see quite nice hand for Priest here. Already Raza being picked up and the Dragonfire kept from the mulligan, which is kind of a killer for mid-range tempo of Shaman, because his minions doesn't really go over 5 health and they are usually not dragons.
Yeah, that is true.
Only the late game minions after evolves have the chance to kind of evolve over the point of 6 health and above.
We do see Aya in hand for Alexander, which will be a nice comeback after the potential Dragonfire that will happen, I assume, as soon as possible, since he decided to keep the Dragonfire and he doesn't want to keep it for for the last few turns. He's gonna want to play it.
Also, Aya can be used to like spread the board before the Dragonfire.
Yeah, to block it as well, which is also really useful. And if the priest doesn't get the silence plus Dragonfire like in the game versus Rogue, it can be really good for the shaman.
I agree. Saronic Chain Gang being played here, and we see Shadow Reaper Anduin
everything being picked up. That is
Everything
true.
is piecing together. The priest just needs to hold on and like kind of live through this early game pressure of shaman, and after that, I'm afraid that the window of opportunities are rapidly closing for shaman.
Yeah, and we can see Raza on turn 5, maybe Anduin on turn 8 if the shaman manages to pick up that doppelgangster. We see 2 evolve effects, and unless the evolve effects are like 4/7, 4/6 minions, all that kind of stuff, we will see the Shadow Reaper just sweeping that evolve board.
One thing I learned when you play versus shaman: never underestimate the power of evolve and bloodlust.
Yeah. He goes for the Thrall instantly, wanting to get some good board and better trades versus this Stark Reaper. So let's see what he gets. Pretty nice board. Yeah, a
solid.
7/6, is not to be underestimated. Also, Alkanai Soul Priest doesn't do much since Shaman doesn't really have the healing effects, but it is a strong minion. Also, Kazaka's being picked up. Everything is kind of there.
And
decides to go for that instead of Raza,
decides. I think that's because his life total is on 30, his minions are fully healed, and he kind of wants to put one more answer. I guess we're seeing the 5-cost spell here.
Yeah, and we're gonna be seeing, I'm pretty sure, either Netherbloom or Mystic Wool, where he wants to transform some minions into sheeps before they deal so much damage to his board and to his face ultimately.
It also acts like a silence card, because if you want to avoid some nasty death rattle effects.
So we see the Mystic Wool. Again, which means that he probably picked up the damage, or the...
Let's check the...
the
5 damage and freezes 2 random minions, also good.
That's good, yeah. And that 5 damage will deal with the 7/6 in combination with a few of his minions. And what's not to be forgotten also is that Shaman's Evolve effect actually heals the minions. So if you want to kill Shaman's minions, kill them in 1 turn, because he will evolve the vulnerable minions.
Yeah, and the thing that comes out of evolve is always fully healed.
That is true. But we see a coin being kept and Anduin in hand in case of emergency. He can always coin that out. And also showing us the Raza and Dragonfire Potion. Really, really important tools. And
can Shaman squeeze the win out of this? A minion that he definitely wants to remove as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna be seeing that Dragonfire really soon. And with Kazakus and trade into the 9/6, he has a really good setup for the Dragonfire.
Yeah, he can always Dragonfire setup. That's also nice. So fully board clear.
Yeah,
I like it because the minions now tend to go bigger and bigger, and your Dragonfire will be less and less effective if you keep it in hand for a long time. Also, Lyra being picked up, all the legendary minions that kind of build this deck
they're all here.
All the tools are here, but is there enough time
to play all of them?
Yes.
Because Shaman is gonna want to continue with the pressure. And Anduin being good, but not good enough, since he really wants to deal with that Aya and not leave anything for the potential evolve effect. And here the freezing effect not working the way he would want it to work.
Yeah, because the freeze happens before the death rattle procs, and then the 3/3 Jade pops out, and he kind of dodges that freezing wave.
Yeah.
Being able to attack this turn it means a lot to pressure.
when shaman starts evolving, you really need to have a lot of knowledge about the Hearthstone cards, because sometimes you have to take into consideration to get a really good or a really bad card, and sometimes you can aim for a certain card and at least increase your chances of getting it. Here, a taunt, not really what he wanted to pick up, but we see a lot of damage in his hand, and we might even see that evolve, unless he decides to draw cards with the Manatite Totem.
We see that Alexander is kind of trying to set up a board for
Bloodlust,
potential Bloodlust.
We see another Manatite being picked up, and not a good board clear from the Shadow Reaper Anduin, because all the minions are quite small, but we're gonna see some heals. The problem is there is a Light Warden that will get buffed from the Priest heal, so he keeps actually buffing the minion without being able to actually remove it. Yeah, and it's gonna be, wow. He actually made a huge minion out of that. That's really dangerous to do.
Yes.
Because of that bloodlust. I'm wondering if this is something that he wanted to do, because now he's in real danger.
I'm not sure if he realized that will happen after the second healing effect, and the effects of healing the face counts.
He can leave him at 1 HP.
Yes, that is huge.
This is actually huge. If he does not decide to remove the Lyra and just goes for like Shadow Reaper Anduin or something. Wait. Yeah, a lot of damage being picked up. Not quite lethal.
Yeah, I see 29.
Yeah, 29, and he might go for Bloodlust and maybe evolving his board even. I don't think this is what Priest wanted to do. He decides to leave him at 1 HP. Yeah, wow. He really did not expect that out of that Light Warden.
I think we'll see the keep on a weapon here. Or no?
No, I mean, he doesn't know, but he assumes that ATL does not run any removals, and now we're gonna see probably that Shadow Reaper being picked up, but that's not enough. Another Bloodlust being picked up, that's huge.
Yeah, also Dragonfire being discovered from Lyra is a deal changer here a bit.
It is, but also Lyra. Oh
Greater
wow!
healing potion found from Lyra.
Exactly.
That is huge.
Needed.
That is a game changer.
It is, but not to be underestimated. He did find the Doppelgangster plus Evolve combo, so now he will be able to make another board.
Also, another copy of Bloodlust.
Huge. The problem is Shadow Reaper here will affect the board a lot if he happens to.
Also, patches with Bloodlust is that one hidden minion that you usually don't count on.
A 4/4, a 6/6, and a I guess we will see Manatite being played here, and I don't think we're gonna see that patches. Cabal Trafficker, huge Temple Giver, and I love seeing that, since this is a board where 2 minions will get removed if he decides to go for the Shadow Reaper. And a ping to he doesn't decide to ping the 2/2, he decides to heal.
That's just, I think, it. With the patches, 4 and.
But don't forget the armor.
Armor gain, yes.
Yeah, armor gain
not
is
quite there yet.
But this is
all out of removals.
Yeah, this is actually gonna be it with the with the Jade Claws being picked up. Wow, what a GG! And that Light Warden that carried him through the game. Wow, what an amazing game of Hearthstone.
Congratulations to both of the players, and also
quite an amazing
special
game.
Congratulations to Alexander NS for qualifying. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
We will be back with our finals match as soon as the finalists are ready in about 5 to 10 Hello guys, and welcome back. Here we have our finals match for our 5th ESL Hearthstone Autumn Qualifier. And we have Palucha on the top and Alexander Anes that you saw in the semifinals at the bottom. Palucha with his warrior, druid, warlock, and shaman, where his druid is banned, and Alexander Anes with his shaman, paladin, druid, and rogue, where his rogue got banned.
Also, we are seeing
here we're seeing a paladin versus the warlock, and sorry about not being able to see the cards. There we go.
Here there are cards.
And now we can see that Palucha is playing the Zoo Warlock, and Alexander with Murloc Paladin with quite some late game with Tyrion as well, as we can see.
Yes. Also, he decides to coin out the South Sea Captain with combined with patches that is 2/2, removes the board and contests the drop. But we see an answer from Alexander, not taking another moment to think of another solution, just going straight for that.
Also, I think he really wants to get a buff with his Grimskill chum, because when you play versus a Zoo Warlock, you really want that additional buff on your Murlocs. And here we see a Murloc. So Grimskill will get...
Also a Murloc that can be played, and also a thing that he provides can be played. This turn Redemption, also Noble Sacrifice.
Pretty good.
Also a fast plays by Alexander, that means that he knows the line really well.
Yeah.
And he played this matchup probably for many times.
Yeah, also I think it's a really good setup because Tar Creeper is pretty well, a pretty tough minion to actually remove. So it is quite important that he kind of reduces the amount of health that Tar Creeper has, and I think Noble Sacrifice is really good at doing that because Warlocks don't really have heals for their minions. They do have some buffs, but I think he's really aiming for the trade with that Hydrologist. And here we see another South Sea Captain. Well, possibly being played, but he's going for the Councilman. Well, a lot of help from the Councilman, and also Firefly there to buff the attack.
He's an engine for trading in this early games on, especially in this Zoo-ish meta, because Palucha is playing a Zoo Warlock, and Alexander Anes also relying heavily on that Zoo mechanic, like one minions buffing others. And like they sometimes even mutually buff each other, also on Murloc synergies.
Also, we're gonna see a full clear here, and quite an amount of minions from Alexander being left over. And I think he's really preparing for that Tarim turn in case a strong minion gets played. I think he's gonna want to have a solution for that. Also, really contest that Doomguard.
Yeah, it would be really unfortunate if we see Doomguard here, because he will quickly be reduced to just a 3/3 and then he can be traded with just an ordinary 1/1
Yeah,
Murloc.
but that's 2 minions going into the Doomguard, so he's also getting quite some value out of it.
Yes, and he kind of thinks, do I want to risk? What are my risks of this card? And
like, do you want to discard the Gul'dan? I don't think you really are aiming for that. Maybe he goes for RNG play and decides not to discard it. Well, his Bone Mare getting discarded, but here still is the Gul'dan, and when he comes back, he's gonna bring back that Doomguard no matter what, and also bring it back in his full size, which is really important. But a 3/7, not an easy thing for a Zoo deck to deal with.
Especially with Taunt, that kind of limits his freedom to trade with whatever he wants, whenever he wants. So
also that Cold Light Seer being able to buff all the Murlocs that he plays, and the Bone Mare. So yeah, quite a hand for both players, but a really awkward board for Palucha to deal with. He might decide to draw cards with Soulfire, but there's a danger at 50% of discarding the Gul'dan, and I don't think he's considering. Well, I think he's considering whether or not it is worth it. So yeah, for now it seems that Palucha is kind of running out of options there.
Yeah, and you kind of have to start that discard draw engine running, and I don't know if the Gul'dan is the key card to win this matchup. I mean, if he tends to keep it, he might end up losing the game before the Gul'dan.
Ooh, and there he goes.
Also, sometimes it's even too late to play Gul'dan because first you need to play a lot of demons, and he didn't play that many demons in this matchup. This version with Darkshire, not Darkshire Librarian, but that 1/5 minion that grows.
The Darkshire Councilman.
Yeah, the Darkshire Councilman. Yeah, the same guy from the same village, but just a different job. He's not a demon, and the decks with him lacks a bit of demons, so their Gul'dan is a bit weaker, or it becomes just as strong, but in a later stages of game.
But you also have to consider that if you do play the Darkshire Councilman on turn 9, what's gonna happen at turn 10 if you do play the Gul'dan? It gives a buff of +6 damage to the full board, so it is a really strong combo piece in that deck, and the reason why people run it.
Of course.
And here we see Bone Mare, and something getting really close to GG for this Warlock. He can't tap anymore, and he wouldn't even survive until that Gul'dan turn.
Yeah, and we also see a Tyrion from the Paladin, from the Alexander, and I don't see a way how does he trade this?
I mean, he can survive. Can he survive? Actually, no, he doesn't. No. It's a lethal on board, and it's a GG. Yeah, congrats to Alexander. Stay tuned for another game. And yeah, Alexander now has to get a win with his Paladin or with with his Shaman or with his Druid, since he got a win with Paladin, and Palucha still having his Warrior, his as we see Zoo Warlock, and his Shaman. So yeah, the players are just getting ready for the game. They're picking their best deck versus each other. So we will give them a moment.
Yeah, sometimes this is a really important step in like playing the whole match, like counter picking each other, playing that mind game. Will he pick this deck, so I pick something that counters that deck, or will he pick another deck that I pick, then I pick something else, and then you kind of go, maybe he thinks that I think, and then like
and that can take a while.
That you can think like on a few levels, and then at the end you come back to your starting, and you get back to your starting like decision and just play it.
Yeah, that is true. And sometimes you want to pick the same deck that you picked in the last game, but you might think like, oh, okay, well he might think that I'm picking something else if I take this long. So you might just want to get that few seconds to actually.
We see only a Primal Fin Totem being kept on Shaman, and quite okay opening hand from Zoo. Having that Soulfire means that he can deal with potential big taunt or minion with massive healths in an early game, quite cheap, and that kind of gives him a tempo to because it's good card because it offers you opportunity to remove something and also play on board more stuff.
That is true. Maelstrom Portal will probably be kept. I don't think he's gonna want to go for the clear here. Primal Fin Totem being so important to get picked up, and also playing around Mortal Coil and making him trade into the 1/2 if he does want to Mortal Coil there, and yeah, keeping the Warlock alive basically. So no reason not to go phase unless he is playing around the Veteran, which will give the minion +1 attack, but we don't see it here in hand, and we see a Doomguard being discarded.
That's a bit unlucky.
Yeah, RNG not on his side today with that discard Warlock.
Exactly as we spoke, he managed to remove a 3 health minion and play something else. Also, he managed to negate that card loss with a card draw. Of course, the power level of Darkshire Councilman is not nearly as a Doomguard, but
yeah, well, Doomguard being that evil card that discards.
Yeah, and Councilman has a bigger potential.
It does.
But it's just a potential, because he can grow way larger than But I guess we'll
Definitely
see that
a bit less chaotic than Doomguard, and a lot less stressful to play on board, I think.
That is true.
I mean, as a warlock, yes, you do need to take some sacrifices there and just lose some cards, but sometimes you just don't want to lose them.
I like the trade here because whatever, if he plays a Flame Tongue Totem, whatever he decides to trade with that 1/1 minion, that minion will also be picked up.
That is true. And yeah, here we see a strong Maelstrom devolve into the Maelstrom and a full board clear, which is really, really important versus the Zoo. Also Galaka Crawler in hand, just waiting for those pirates, those captains to appear.
Yeah, but Palucha is not out of the steam yet, and we see the Despicable Dreadlord being picked up from the top, which can deal at the moment with 2 out of 3 minions and can wipe out 75% of health from your opponent's board.
That is true. Basically, we also see some pirates, and yeah, we're gonna see an evolve here. Here really doesn't want to trade the whole board into the Dark Reaper, and this can be a huge evolve unless a Doomsayer happens, which would be the worst outcome. And a so strong evolve here, especially for Zoo board. So many favorable trades. 1/8.
Also a card that gives you a mage spell to your hand, which means that you get value even after it dies.
That is true. Jade
Swarmer, a minion that cannot be removed that easily. Of course, with the Despicable Dreadlord now is the case that he gets removed. Also a minion that buffs another minions with health and attack.
Like an anti-Zoo board. Really important that all the... Wow, Counterspell also strong because he knows which spells Palucha is running, and he can always play around the Soulfire if he thinks he's in danger. Also, we see Galaka here not having so much value since all the pirates got evolved. Yeah. But Bloodlust here is huge because he will be able to trade off the board, kill those minions that kill his minions, basically, and just...
And he's also ready for a dead captain that we see in Palucha's hand, and he will find it with that crab.
I mean, so far a very interesting game, and we've seen some strong bloodlust in these series from Shamans.
Yes, that card is absolutely an MVP for today.
Yeah, and with 6 health out of that minion, he's gonna be able to trade so much and so well into all the minions, since this guy is almost impossible to get through.
Picked up a little bit too late. For this game, I think that the most of the card draw is already gone, and
you might even consider silencing the taunt.
Yes, because now he can continue to trade with the rest of the board.
But that 2/1 being so interesting because it can still buff that minion and make it tradable.
I'm so interested if you're gonna play crab just for the tempo here.
I think he might even go for the counter spell because now, I like it. Since he actually might find some good trades that a warlock can make. Also, it is a spell to think about when you're facing a shaman with a mage spell. That somehow he get his hands on. Maybe you're even considering, like, what if it's Mirror Entity? So he gets a minion. What if it's Ice Block? So I never get to proc.
Around the whole arsenal of mage spells now, and
choosing not to play around Mirror Entity and making a good choice.
I don't think he can afford to play around it, because if he skips the Bone Mare turn, I don't think he will get another opportunity to play Bone Mare on something and attack in the same turn.
One of the worst things that could happen is actually the Frozen clone, where he would get just 2 Bone Mares to hand and just continue to trade into the Zoo hand.
And we see Alexander comfortably going face without any real threat of dying to the Zoo board. He's kind of allowing the Zoo to kind of make the board because he has a board of his own, and his board is bigger. This would make a
Zoo trade into the 2/2s, which is something that he doesn't really want to do, but now he has to do it. Also, we see him going all in with all his minions, just hoping to go face at some point. But Galaka Crawler is so strong for that 3 3 or a 3/4 even.
Yeah,
But I think the captain will. Yeah.
Captain is more important because he buffs everyone else, so it's basically 5/5, not a 3/3.
That is true, but so many favorable trades for Alexander, and Aya being picked up, something you don't want to see as a zoo at 15 health and without cards. Also healing totem that allows you to trade for free if he doesn't get removed. And whatever he's getting picked up, it's reducing the amount of health that he has, and we see a lethal on board.
Is it? Can he trade something to reduce it
yeah,
below
it's
the 10?
Lethal. It's one-off, so Shaman doesn't really have a lethal on board yet, but he's getting really dangerously close, and he can leave him at 1 health and prevent all the possible tapping. Well, I guess Warlock could find some trades there, but I think he's gonna decide to play it safely.
Trading here and playing maybe even Doppelgangster at the end of the turn, or just kind of preserving him for what is yet to come.
I would really like to see Aya going face there. He doesn't really have a lot of cards to discard with the Malcheser's Imp, and I really think he would like to have the 5 damage to face. He chooses to go safely, which I completely understand, but I don't think there's a real punish to going face.
I also like the value trade here, not just the trade for like minion for minion.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
And we see playing Doppelgangster just for the 2 copies of minion.
Well, setting up lethal on board.
And not something that Warlock can deal with. Maybe a taunt can keep him alive for 1 more turn.
And we see an extraordinary comment, and at about this time Heather knows that this card is either an ice block that wasn't procced or a counter spell, and this is a very convincing GG from Alexander. Yeah, good game. And is it?
No,
I mean
it's one off, but I don't know a card in a zoo deck that beats this.
Yeah, he's not allowed to tap anymore, so I don't see how he gets away with it. So yeah, it is a GG, unless he's running the Twisting Nether and the removal for a weapon that can be played in the same turn. I don't think.
2-0.
Yeah, 2-0 for Alexander.
2-0 for Alexander, but we see this earlier, and guys, those of you who follow us, you know that the reverse sweep is not so uncommon for this tournament. We saw many reverse sweeps. I think
we've actually never had a finals where there wasn't a reverse sweep. Sometimes the one reversing would end up losing the match, but we would always have 5 games of Hearthstone in the finals.
There was one exception, but everything else, one finals.
Yeah, actually there was one. Yeah, true.
But everything else was up to a 5th game, and I hope that we will see that today. So thumbs up for Palucha. Also, if Alexander NS wins, that is also fine with us, but we just want to see more Hearthstone, more battle, more fun.
What's really important is that both of these finalists have qualified for the big league finale on 26th, I think it's 26th of November. It's a Sunday, just like always, Sunday at 4 o'clock by the end of November. There is gonna be the league finals, and both of these guys together with the finalists that have already qualified are now in the bracket for the finals, where they can win some cool prizes.
We see a Jade Druid versus a Pirate Warrior here. Pirate Warrior with the Prince and a Fiery War Axe. Nice curve for Pirate Warrior. Also, Alexander NS, recognizing that it might be a Pirate Warrior, he keeps both of his Jade Idols, and that's
probably wanting to play both
for the minions, not just for the value of like a Jade Ramp, and we might even see a coin into them, or he wants to preserve coin for Jade Blossom.
I think he will want to Blossom. Yes. I think he wants to get to the turn 10 as soon as Pirate Warrior's turn 6 possibly. Yeah. But
the main thing is here just to climb up to that Jade Behemoth.
That is true. The really scary thing is something that you really want to see in the Pirate Warrior hand, and that is a perfect curve. A weapon, a Fiery War Axe, 3 mana that can be played on turn 3, and already, being able to spend the charge for the Arcanite Reaper. So I think he's gonna be wanting to go face fearlessly there, so he can free the place for the weapon. and he assumes that the Jade Druid is not running any weapon removals or doesn't mind spending it on the Fiery War Axe. Here, Alexander ramping his Jades as soon as possible, and they're actually up to a 4-4. So now they can test the board. Yeah.
Actually, it's turn 4 because he ramped. So he managed to ramp his Jade every single turn from the beginning of the game, and he will continue to do so because we see a Jade Behemoth in a hand which also ramps, and the Jade Spirit to follow up on that.
We actually see almost a board clear from Pirate Warrior by Pirate Warrior. So strong, and I don't even know if he's gonna want to play Jade Behemoth. His health is not endangered yet.
His Jades are so big that they contest everything so well, even even on a turn 6 having a 5/5 Jade.
There are no minions that Pirate Warrior has that are not contested now.
Also, the game is entering into turn 6, and he's having already a 6/6 Jades on board.
Palucha recognizing that he's gotta go face at some point if he wants to win this game.
Yeah, but we see a taunt ready and a lot of Jades being ready to just kind of crumble everything that's presented in front of them.
A 7/7 Jade on a turn 7 from a Jade Druid.
6 actually, because he ramped into it.
That is true. And
also, it was turn 5 for him because he was going second. So.
But he has such a good curve, and now that Leroy has to go into the taunt if he's gonna go face with the weapon.
Yeah.
Also 9 health. He actually needs to armor up here because he will die next turn from Corpron and the weapon charge if he chooses not to do that.
He can try to find a Behemoth by ratting his own minion, but he decides to go for a more stable version.
I think he will recognize that he has to armor up there.
Also, Spreading Plague, a nice card to get away with a few turns.
Yeah, here we see him not playing around the Mortal Strike and recognizing that he needs to armor up, counting the 4 damage from Corcoran Elite, a really nice play. And we see no lethal being picked up from the Pirate Warrior.
Is the Corcoran being picked after or before the Prince?
Corcoran was being picked before because we actually saw. Yeah, he was checking it as well, and we saw it at the beginning of the game where he had a really good curve. Wow, congratulations to both finalists, and especially to Alexander NS for basically for a complete sweep in these finals.
Yeah. So let's tune in just a second. So, hi guys.
Hi, from your caches as well.
Welcome. Wow, what an astonishing win we saw here. Alexander sweeping 3-0. The first time we see a complete sweep on this tournament. Really decisive wins. But also his opponent playing really nicely. But he was just able to find the better curve, the better tempo.
And that Jade Druid sweep, that was something not actually so expected when we saw the hand.
I never saw in my life Jade's bigger by the mark of 2 in the turn 5 or 6. He had 7/7 Jade on turn 5 basically. Well, it was turn 7 for him. He ramped twice, but for a Pirate Warrior, for like every other class, every ordinary class who doesn't have that ramps, it's a turn 5, and like having a 7 minions to deal with from 1/1 to 7/7 plus the ordinary minions, it was too much.
And that Aya was really great. She enabled all those favorable turns. Congrats basically to both of the finalists, and I'm really happy to see that the league is going well, that you guys are participating, that you like watching, and just that you enjoy seeing your friends, your colleagues, your teammates possibly playing in those tournaments and cheering for them. It's something that means a lot to them, and it means a lot to us as casters and as someone who wants to just give you the best Hearthstone on Sundays.
Yeah. Also, I will invite everyone to apply. We want more players and more fun. Also, who knows, maybe next week you will be playing finals and grabbing that spot in a final event where we have prize pools and premium accounts and all the cool stuff. Also, you don't have that many chances. Like 5 out of 8 tournaments are already passed, and
So three more weeks.
3 more weeks. So we will see 6 more players that will qualify for the tournament. So make sure to grab one of those spots.
Be one of them, yeah.
And good luck with it. The competition is always high and it's never easy, but it's definitely worth it. I consider it one of the coolest prizes I saw on a tournament in this region. Also,
yeah, premium account not to be underestimated, because it gives you an opportunity to participate in more tournaments and grow as a player. So that's really important.
It is, and you can kind of reach out to a place where other pro players are playing, and you can learn so much from them. That's gonna be it for today. Our players were great. Chat was great, so thank you everyone for participating and making this great, and I will call you to participate even more, and hopefully our Hearthstone scene will be recognized as one of the scenes that is worthy of global games and even bigger events, and by doing this you're helping to achieve that. So as we said,
that's true.
Bye.
Bye guys, and see you next week. And yeah, hopefully in such great numbers, and yeah, have a good day, have a good night, and also I want to mention as well that apart from the league, we also have a special tournament on Tuesday, and it is the ESL Adria Halloween Cup. So it is not a part of this league qualifier, it is just for fun. So on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Make sure you apply for the Halloween Cup. You can find it on ESL Adria Play website, and you can apply for it also on our Facebook pages, on our Twitter pages, and everywhere you will see the announcements about the Halloween Cup. So make sure you follow them and pick your place in the bracket as well. Also, the prize is the ESL Premium account. So on Tuesday we hope to see you in a great number for a great Halloween tournament.
It will be international also.
And all of the tournaments.
It will be a really big tournament. So if you want to play on something that big, and also if you qualified already for the league finals, we advise you to go and play there because it's not connected.
Yeah.
That's all we had to say. Thanks for watching, and
thank you,
see you.
And see ya. Bye.
Bye.